Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
The state descends on another location tied to the 696 Green Ooze hazmat situation. Defender cameras are in Deckerville. I'll tell you what they found.
A major twist in the UAW corruption scandal. A former top official signals he might plead guilty, and that's not all.
But we're going to begin with a shooting in broad daylight in a Shelby Township parking lot.
Yeah, right now we know the victim is at Troy Beaumont Hospital in critical condition.
Happened around 1:30 this afternoon in the parking lot right at the corner of 23 Mile and Shelby Roads. Coco McAvoy, they're live right now. And Coco, police say the shooter and the victim in this case are apparently related.
Yes, that's right. They are cousins. The victim, as you mentioned, is in the hospital in critical condition, and the shooter is in custody. Now, police are still out here investigating, trying to get to the bottom of this. This is a fairly busy plaza. There's a CVS pharmacy. There are also a number of other businesses located within this plaza. Now, you can see that all of the activity is really zeroed in on these two cars. Police are trying to figure out why the shooting happened. The victim was inside of the Lexus, and you can see the bullet holes left behind. An active scene after a shooting in broad daylight. Shelby Township police officers blocking off the parking lot inside of this plaza off of 23 Mile Road in Shelby. The officers are zeroed in on these two cars, both involved in the shooting. Police sources say the shooting was between family members. One cousin shot another cousin multiple times. The victim was inside of the Lexus and was taken to the hospital critically injured. The shooter didn't put up a fight and surrendered to police after the shooting. Officers set up caution tape and an evidence marker where a shell casing and blue sandal were left behind. Now, police will question the shooter to figure out what happened and if there's a motive. And police are expected to be out here blocking the area for quite some time this evening. We do not have any information at this time about the identity of the victim or the shooter. We'll, of course, keep in contact with police and let you know as soon as we have more information. Reporting live this afternoon, I'm Coco McAvoy, Local 4.
All right, Coco. The digging along I-696 continues as investigators try to determine how far that green ooze has gone. Tonight, the defenders on the case and on the scene as they sift through their findings. The Local 4 defenders are breaking new ground today about who knew what and when in regards to the contamination site in Madison Heights.
Crews were back there again today for testing, and so was Local 4 defender Karen Drew. Let's get the latest here on a story that just keeps getting bigger.
Well, Devin and Kim, everyone's talking about this timeline. The company was shut down back in 2016. It was EPA's job to remove all those dangerous chemicals. They spent some $1.5 million to do so, but then they handed the case over to the state, and that's where this all starts to slip through the cracks. Well, I was there early this morning as the EPA oversaw the soil sampling. They're hoping to get some test results by the end of the week, but that wasn't the only place investigators hit today.
It's a day of drilling some 20 feet into the ground to get soil samples.
We think this is traveling along the clay.
The question, how far is the contamination gone?
They pound it into the ground, and then when they bring it out, it's in a plastic sleeve, and they cut open the sleeve so that they can look at the soil type.
These samples will be sent to a lab to determine how deep the hexavalent chromium and other chemicals have spread through the ground and through the water.
We're looking at systems to pump the water around so that we don't have any further downstream impacts.
We know the source, electroplating on 10 Mile Road, but investigators don't know how far it's spread.
You've tested to this point?
Correct.
And then how far that side?
About where those tanks are.
The defenders have reported for years on the company with the thousands of barrels of hazardous waste found on the property, how MDEQ dropped the ball on holding the owner accountable, and the conviction of the owner, Gary Sayers, for his illegal storage. Today, the investigation expanded all the way to Deckerville to a property Sayers owns, where they found an increase in scrap metal since a 2017 visit, including empty containers. Initial reports indicate no hazardous waste, but an empty 300-gallon plastic tote was found in a creek on the property. The water in the creek is clear, according to state investigators. Meantime, back at the Madison Heights site.
Any idea how much has gotten into our water?
No. No, I don't know how long this has been leaking. Like, I've only been aware of it since I arrived on site on December 20th.
But in a sense, this could have been leaking since 2018, 2019.
I can't even speculate.
It could be years. Don't know. It could be years. We know the state has admitted the reason why this location actually fell through the cracks is because at the time of the cleanup, this case had no impact on drinking water as the city is on a municipal water system. So then the site fell to the bottom of the thousands of sites in the state that needed remediation. But as we reported all last week, lawmakers are just furious that this happened. And it makes you wonder if it's happening in other places.
Anywhere else. This one is fortunately became visible.
Right.
There's some that aren't.
It's oozing on the interstate.
So what now?
Well, they have to do a plan for the cleanup, and so they have to do the sampling. Then they have to have a design to how to clean that up. That can take a couple weeks to do the design. And then I asked them, well, then cleanup could start in a month. And EPA said, oh, I hope not. I hope it starts sooner.
Hope it's sooner than that.
Yeah.
We do too.
Keep us posted.
All right, we'll do.
All right, in more news this afternoon, major developments in the UAW corruption scandal. Prosecutors have added yet another set of charges to a high-ranking director, but there's much more to go with those charges that changes the nature of the case. As business editor Rod Maloney reports, Vance Pearson was supposed to be in court today, but that quickly changed.
The feds, with their steady drip, drip, drip of bad news for the United Auto Workers, come out with this. It is new charges against former Region 5 UAW Director Vance Pearson, who had only been charged to date, but this information indicates he's looking to plead guilty to embezzlement, among other charges. This is Vance Pearson, bald pate, black vest, gray pants, black shoes, walking into federal court with his lawyers last November. At his initial appearance charged with embezzling union funds, money laundering, wire fraud, and conspiracy, he pled not guilty. Today, it's an entirely new case. In a superseding information, prosecutors announced new charges of conspiracy to embezzle union funds and aid a racketeering enterprise. The information means Pearson is looking to plead guilty. What's more, the Pearson case is now merged with another UAW case brought against former UAW Region 5 CAP Council staffer Edward N. Robinson and 4 unnamed union leaders. Now, it's no secret Vance Pearson loved his golf. Here he is behind the wheel of a golf cart with former UAW President Gary Jones at a UAW golf outing. The information says Pearson padded expense reports at wintertime UAW California golf outings, where union leadership lived in high-end golf resort villas, hiding rounds of golf and particularly pricey cigars, citing his buying 16 boxes of Diamond Crown Churchills at $243 a throw and 10 boxes of Ashton Monarch Tubos at $275 a pop, in all spending $13,000 of union money on high-end handcrafted stogies. Also part of today's filing, the government wants either the cigar or the money back as part of a forfeiture allegation. If Pearson ends up pleading guilty, he must pay the government amount equal to the theft. Now, the union today put out a statement decrying Pearson's alleged crimes. They're saying that they have said all along that he blatantly violated his oath of office, betrayed the trust of hardworking union members. You may recall that the union threw him out along with former President Gary Jones. They're no longer in the union at all. They've launched their own investigation of them, but it's important to point out that Gary Jones resigned from office and he has not been charged with anything in this case. Back to you.
Well, Rod, any word on when we will see these cases actually get to court?
Well, no. We were looking for dates to see if, in fact, they'll be having the guilty pleas, and they haven't scheduled them yet. And as we've seen in the other cases like this, they tend to go maybe a month or two, and they don't do them together, even though these particular cases now have been merged into one. Sure. It's likely it'll be a month or two, or maybe even 3, before we get these guilty pleas finished.
Well, we know you'll keep us posted. Rod, we appreciate it.
All right, now to the tension in the Middle East. There have been massive processions across Iran in tribute to the country's top general killed last week in a U.S. drone strike. Crowds expressing their grief, but also calling for revenge against the United States. As Richard Engel reports from neighboring Iraq, there are growing calls for the U.S. to pull all of its forces out of that country.
The U.S. killing of Iran's top general Qasem Soleimani has united Iranians in a way not seen in decades. Hundreds of thousands of people, Iranian television says millions of people poured into the streets in Tehran and other cities in Iran to express their anger, to express their love for Qasem Soleimani, but also to demand revenge against the United States. And we're also seeing expressions of support for Iran here in Iraq. Many people coming out onto the streets saying that the United States overstepped its bounds. There are about 5,000 U.S. troops in this country, and officially they are here at the invitation of the Iraqi government in order to be fighting against ISIS, not to be carrying out targeted assassinations and fighting a proxy war with Iran. And the Iraqi parliament yesterday took an extraordinary step, passing a non-binding, for now, resolution that the United States should leave this country. And today, the Iraqi prime minister took that a step further, formally calling the U.S. ambassador in Baghdad and passing on the message, saying the Iraqi parliament has spoken. There is still a lot of legal gray area to wade through, and it's unclear if that order will be carried out. But it is clear that pressure is mounting here in Iraq after this action for U.S. troops to leave. Richard Engel, NBC News, Erbil, Iraq.
Now, meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, House Democrats will soon vote on a war powers resolution to limit President Trump's military actions. That resolution, by the way, is expected to reach the Senate before the articles of impeachment do.
Well, we've got much more ahead here at 5. Here's Nick.
A warning from the Sterling Heights Police Department today about where you should and should not do e-commerce. We'll show you a dash cam video of one that went horribly wrong.
Soak up the sunshine while you can, because we may be soaking in another S word by the end of the week. We'll look at that coming up.
I'm Victor Williams, and police are investigating after thieves got away with thousands and thousands of dollars by simply breaking into the front doors of 3 Targets in Wayne County. Coming up, we'll tell you why exactly police believe that all 3 of these incidents are connected.